All right, let's talk about something I think we've all felt. You know that feeling at the end of a long workday? You're completely drained, totally exhausted, but when you try to think back on what you actually got done, it's kind of blurry. You felt busy, you were definitely busy, but were you actually productive? Well, if that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. Let's dive into why that happens and the real science behind it.
This is the big question, isn't it? It seems like we're putting in more and more hours. We're always connected, always on. But that feeling of making real, solid progress just feels like it's slipping through our fingers. So, what is going on here?
Turns out this feeling actually has a name. It's called the productivity paradox, and it perfectly captures this whole situation. We're wired to think that more hours should automatically equal more results, but a ton of research shows that a lot of the time, the opposite is true. We're juggling more than ever, but we keep dropping the things that really matter.
And look, this isn't just a vibe. The data totally backs it up. Check this out. One study found that Greek workers put in, on average, about 2,000 hours a year. Germans, on the other hand, work closer to 1,400. But here's the real kicker. German productivity is about 70% higher. It's a perfect illustration of the point. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter.
So, to figure out how to work smarter, we first need to diagnose the problem. And the problem, it turns out, isn't really about your work ethic or even your time management skills. It's about a fundamental bottleneck that's happening inside your brain.
The main idea we need to wrap our heads around is something called cognitive load. The easiest way to think about it is this. Your brain's working memory is kind of like the RAM in your computer. It's super fast, super powerful, but it's also incredibly limited. Every single thought, every task, every little distraction, it all takes up a piece of that very limited space.
Now, not all cognitive load is the same. Take a look at this. You don't even have to know what this diagram is about to feel what's happening. This is a perfect example of what researchers call extraneous cognitive load. It's when information is presented so poorly that your brain wastes a ton of energy just trying to figure out the layout, not the actual content. It's mental energy that's just gone.
And that brings us to the biggest offender of them all, the great myth of multitasking. We love to think we're amazing at it, right? Juggling emails, Slack messages, and our actual project work. But here's the hard truth. Your brain can't actually multitask. It's not a thing. What's really happening is that your brain is rapidly jumping from one task to another, a process called context switching.
And every time your brain makes that jump, it leaves something behind. It's a concept called attention residue. It means that even after you click over to that spreadsheet, part of your brain, part of your focus, is still stuck on that email you were just writing. It's the reason you have to reread the same sentence 3 times after a quick interruption. Sound familiar?
Okay, so we're constantly switching, leaving this trail of mental residue everywhere. But what's the actual cost? I mean, how bad can it really be? Well, the numbers are pretty staggering, actually.
You might want to brace yourself for this one. Research from the University of California found that after just one single interruption, it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to get your focus fully back on track. Now, think about how many times you get interrupted in an hour. It's crazy.
And all those little recovery times, they add up. Big time. The American Psychological Association estimates that constant context switching can slash your productivity by as much as 40%. That's almost half of your workday just, boof, evaporated into thin air.
And if we zoom out, this isn't just a personal headache, it's a massive economic one. One study figured that this constant switching costs the global economy something like $450 billion every single year, all in lost productivity.
And you know, beyond all the dollars and the minutes, there's a real human cost here. This constant switching jacks up our stress levels, leads to burnout, and makes us less satisfied with our jobs. And get this, studies even show it can double our error rate on detailed work. So we're not just less productive, we're more stressed out, and we're making more mistakes.
Okay, I know, that was a lot of bad news, but here's the good news. This is totally a solvable problem. We've diagnosed the issue, so now let's write the prescription. These are real, actionable things you can do to fight back and get your focus back.
First up, time blocking. This is huge. Instead of letting your day be a chaotic reaction to whatever comes in, you take control. You proactively schedule these 90 to 120-minute blocks of deep, uninterrupted focus time on your calendar, just like you would a meeting. And a pro tip, batch similar tasks together, like doing all your email at once, so your brain isn't constantly switching gears. As the author Cal Newport puts it so well, This ability to do deep work is becoming a genuine superpower in our economy. Think about it. While everyone else is getting pulled in a million directions, the people who can protect their focus are the ones who are going to create real value.
Strategy number 2 is all about controlling your environment, and I mean both your digital and physical space. Be ruthless with your notifications. Turn off everything that isn't absolutely essential. You're in charge, not your apps. Use Do Not Disturb mode, close all those extra browser tabs, and tell your coworkers, hey, I'm going into a focus block for the next hour. These small changes build a powerful wall against distraction.
And here's a fun little psychological hack you can use, especially for those huge projects that feel impossible to start. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. See, our brains are weirdly wired to obsess over unfinished tasks. So, if you have a big report to write, just start it. Write one paragraph and then walk away. Your brain will literally nag you to go back and finish it, making it so much easier to get going again the next day.
So let's pull all of this together. The way out of this productivity paradox isn't about grinding harder or working longer hours. No, it's about making a fundamental shift in how we think about work itself. And if you remember just one thing from all of this, please let it be this. The rules of the game have changed. For decades, we were all taught to focus on managing our time. But in today's world of infinite distraction, the real currency, the most critical skill you can possibly have, is managing your finite and incredibly precious attention.
So I'll leave you with a challenge. Knowing what you know now, that a single little interruption can cost you more than 23 minutes of focus, what is the one thing you can do today? What's the one notification, the one browser tab, the one habit you can eliminate right now to reclaim that time for yourself? The power to do that deep, meaningful work you want to do is right there, waiting for you to protect it.